Chas v'shalom.
Why was that a chas v'shalom?
I don't know. It just seemed like...
Why is that a chas v'shalom?
It's just like a Jewish thing to say. Like you hear something
Well,
about Chas v'shalom.
how come you can say that, but you can't? You have to say Hebrews, Israelites, and, you know...
I like to mix it up.
The
Hey,
Pentateuch.
the Art Scroll talks about Hebrews, so... I can't be more holy than Art Scroll. Okay, the Art Scroll...
2-hour mark. Are we still going?
Chapter 2, yeah, we're going till the end of this Parsha. It's a rich Parsha. It's not my fault that this Parsha is so rich.
No, but it is your fault. We didn't start it until 8.
Chapter 2, verse 12.
Okay.
Art Scroll commentary. Seeing prophetically that no future proselyte would descend from the Egyptian assailant, Moses killed him by reciting the secret name of God, according to Rashi. That the Egyptian died is proof that he was worthy of death. Sacred name would not cause the death of an innocent person. Moses' concern with future generations teaches that one must consider all facets of a complex situation before acting. Had Moses' responsibility to save a fellow Jew resulted in the loss of future Jews, he would have chosen another course. You buy this?
Yeah, absolutely. Rashi explains over there that he looked. It says that he looked this way and that way. You know, before Moshe killed this guy, right? Beat the crap out of this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did he do? He looked to see what this guy was all about in this world, and then he looked that way. He wanted to see what comes out of this guy, because if there's going to be some ger that comes out of him later, and he's going to convert and become a Jew, I don't want to kill this guy because that's going to prevent that guy from coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you ever watch like some science fiction movies,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they always say, "Hey, be careful! Don't kill anybody while you're there because you're going to screw up
Yeah.
everything."
Yeah.
Like whatever you do, don't kill anything. Like, don't even kill a butterfly because you're going to screw up the normal order of events. It's going to have an effect on later. It's going to screw up the whole time. What's that called? The time
warp.
The time warp thing, you know. So he looks and he sees that there's never going to be any Jews from this guy, and then he killed him. So you know, they're running out from this, from Rashi's words, that you should always look into take everything. Like, before you poskin anything, you got to look at the whole picture. Everything that affects now and everything that affects later. You can't just say something. You need to, like, look at the whole picture.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 13. He went out the next day, Moshe, and behold, 2 Hebrew men were fighting. He said to the wicked one, "Why would you strike
That's
the
it.
fellow?"
The space-time continuum. The butterfly effect. Me and Ellen are on the same wavelength. Thank you, Ellen. That's great. Yeah, the space-time continuum. Okay, go ahead.
And the wicked Hebrew replied, "Who appointed you as a dignitary, a ruler, and a judge over us? You propose to murder me as you murdered the Egyptian?" So I really dig this. Is so Jewish. The Jew gives him some lip. Like, you ever, like, you go to a Jew, try to give him some mussar, say, "Hey, why do you strike your fellow?" And the Jew doesn't go, "Oh, that's a good point. I'm wrong. Thank you for pointing that out to me, my Avera. Thank you for the mussar." They go, "Who the hell appointed you a judge over me?" Okay, so in one instance Moses kills, in another instance he just speaks up. Later he simply stands up at the well. So there are 3 ways you stop evil, and Moshe is a model. So sometimes you kill, sometimes you speak, sometimes you just stand up, and you have to know the situation and use wisdom. Exodus chapter 2, verse 18. So this man sends his daughters to gather water, and they come home, and their father says to them, "How come you come home so quickly today?" So he was used to his daughters being bullied every single day. There are lots of crickets in here. Let's keep our mind on Torah.
Okay.
So he was used to his daughters being bullied every single day. So how much bullying and evil do we take for granted? I'm starting to use Rabbs as gestures. This is really frightening. We're used to locking our doors and using security and not going to certain places, particularly at night. We used to be able to walk straight on our plane. So how much bullying in everyday life do we just like, oh, let's take it for granted? Judaism asks us to never make peace with evil and with bullying.
That's good.
Exodus chapter 2, verse 19. Daughters say of Moses, an Egyptian helped us. So Moshe looked Egyptian. He must have sounded Egyptian. He must have been wearing Egyptian bling.
Well, he was the prince.
But he's been running around in the desert for a long time, and he still looks and sounds Egyptian.
Okay, you know what? How about this? Well, we talked about this before when we talked about Menashe a few parshas back.
Mm-hmm.
Menashe is explained. It's brought down that that's an Egyptian name, and Moshe could be an Egyptian name, right?
Yeah.
He had an Egyptian name. Let's say he was wearing Egyptian clothes. Like you said, he may have spoken Egyptian.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he walked like an Egyptian.
Yeah, he's
song. Walk like an Egyptian.
No, but all the Jews are walking around. They've all got like beard and pez and long black jackets. And they're all speaking Yiddish. And this guy's like a goy. He's got a clean shaven face, and he's got long hair, and he's wearing like a Dream Theater T-shirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whatever. And he's acting like a goy. So they think he's a goy.
Okay, they want to know if the husband can come in his wife's bum.
We have discussed this at great length.
It's okay.
I don't even want to know who asked, but who asked?
Ginger.
We've discussed this. Where was she? Yes, he's allowed to.
Thank you. Now let's get back to Torah.
Okay.
Exodus chapter 2, verse 23. The Hebrews groaned because of their work. This is again so Jewish. No stiff upper lip stoicism from the Jews. Like, oh, oy vey, this is so hard. Oy, oy, oy.
Do you know why they groaned?
Because it was hard work.
Do you know why they groaned?
Because they were being oppressed.
Do you know why they groaned?
Yes. The Egyptians were torturing them.
No, listen, Adolf. It says we groaned because we bathed in the blood of our murdered Jewish babies. Okay? Now, you never had kids. But if you had a kid and you watched it being murdered in front of you, and you bathed in it, you were forced to bathe in your baby's blood, you might groan too.
I think I would.
Okay.
But what about, they want to know, what about the wife's juices? The vaginal juices.
We're talking about slavery, and they're talking about sex. What's going on?
Yeah, why do you women have to talk about sex so much? We're trying to talk about Torah here.
What about the juices? What about the juices?
Well, she says that the woman's vaginal juices cry out for the man's juices. So if he spills his juices in another aperture, what about her vaginal juices? Aren't they frustrated?
Whoa! Hang on a second. Wait a second. Are we saying if he's doing her from behind, and he's doing her in the butt, right? Mm-hmm. And why is he doing her in the butt? If she, this doesn't make sense. This whole
it's dirty and it turns.
No, stop it! This whole scenario the question doesn't make sense. If the woman wants it, right? The man has to please the woman, right? Mm-hmm. Halacha is the woman dominates in bed, if you will, because she needs to be satisfied. Guy has a mitzvah, he has to satisfy his wife. If she feels unsatisfied, then he's got to satisfy her. If she wants it in the vaginal, right? She wants it in her pussy hole. Then he has to bang her in the pussy hole, right? The reason why he's in her anal, right, is because she wants it.
What if it's just he wants it? And he says, honey, you want...
That's fine. But you have to satisfy her first. You have to take care of her first. Right?
It's not a good idea to double dip, folks. So don't double dip without cleaning up first.
I don't know what that means. I don't want to know what that means. but she has to be satisfied. If she feels unsatisfied, that's what the whole thing of pulling out. Like we talked about coitus interruptus at length, right? You can't do that because it denies her pleasure, right? If she needs vaginal stimulation, then the guy has to do that, right?
Yeah, kids.
When we talk about anal, the understanding is that she wants anal. Right? She's already been vaginally stimulated or whatever. She's good there. Now she wants some anal, and he can shoot his wad there if he wants. It's fine.
So remembering's a big deal in Judaism. Zachor, remember. And
right.
What's that service on Yom Kippur where you remember the dead?